Hi everyone, Jamie here with Sweet Pickins. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to my home. So I am actually working on a project that I am going to put into our retail location. So I thought I would bring you guys along. I have really kind of been on a Mod Podge kick. Lately, I really don't know why that all the projects coming up are for Mod Podging. So we're gonna do that again today. I printed out a couple images that I have. Since like an old wood fence with some barbed wire and flowers. And then this has some music sheets right here with a church. So I have these two printables, and so we're gonna make, take these printables and make some really fun, festive home decor that you can use as decoration. You could use it on your coffee table. A lot of people like to put books on their coffee table. So I'm just gonna bring you guys along while I make this stuff for a retail location, and maybe you'll wanna make it too. So I went ahead, these are some books that I had, and I painted them. And I just painted them a dark color. You could do whatever color you want. I just wanted to keep them dark because honestly, I painted these first. And then I was like, okay, then I'll pick out what I would like to do on the actual covers. So it looks like these are not done, these two here, but I did darken the pages. Some are darker than others. It just depends on how the darkening agent took on here. These don't look super dark, but they are darkened. But this one really got darkened well. So I've got 3 books here, and actually we're gonna use all 3 books, but we're only gonna Mod Podge on 2. So 2 of these are exactly alike, and 1 is a little different, even in size, you can see. So I am going to pair these up. So I'm going to pair these up. These are the different books. I like to pair similar sizes, not too much difference, but I do like to, when I'm pairing books, make sure they're a little different. So, all right guys, so what I'm going to do is let's work with this one first. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out my image. Now I made mine into an 8x10, so the actual picture is an 8x10. You guys are going to see me use this image on another book video that I did, completely different than this. Books are just a really fun addition to decor, and you guys definitely, my customers love things with books. So this is an 8x10 here. So I am going to look at this image according to this book. So you can see on this side, obviously it's crooked, I'll make sure it's not, but there's a lot of excess. So what I like to do is I like to hold it up to the light, and then you're able to see exactly where your book is gonna go and what you're gonna lose in your image. Now, I don't wanna lose any of this wood, so I'm gonna line this up to where I don't. And once I get it lined up, I'm gonna lay it down, and I'm gonna take my pen and I'm gonna outline the book. So just quick, easy, I outlined the book. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to cut that. Easy and simple. There you go. Okay. So I have this. So what we're going to do is I do like my books to be right side. So actually, if you were to open up, you could read it. You're not going to obviously read it. I don't know what this one's about. However, you do want it right side up. So you know what? I actually did not even grab my Mod Podge. It was sitting right here, but I didn't put it on my table. So again, I used the yellow flat matte Mod Podge. I use it for everything. If I ever need it tinted, I just tint it myself by mixing a little coffee in with it. I don't buy the pre-tinted. So again, what we're going to do is we are going to lay the Mod Podge down on the book. Even coat, not too thick You don't want it to be heavy. You know, the way that the binding, it kind of goes, the outside of the book here kind of dips in. So make sure you're really getting in there so that your picture can really adhere. You don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too dry either. So I just like to go over this a few times. Now you can paint your book whatever color you want. You actually don't even really need to paint the book, the side that the images go on. I just like to. It's just honestly easier to me to make sure that the book is all the same color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to get it all lined up. Now you're going to really want to make sure this is lined up proper. And you're mostly going to want to make sure that it's lined up over here. This is the opening of the book. We can always take the sanding block over here, but we cannot too well over here without destroying the book. So make sure this is all lined up right here. And once it is, start working from the inside out. Just use your hands like I always do. Just really get in there. Make sure you get all the bubbles out from the inside out. That's how you're going to get all the bubbles out, because what they'll do is they'll just have little pockets, and you want to make sure those are out. Your fingers are your best tool with this. Okay, so here it is. So you have just a slight hangover here. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the book, and then we're going to go ahead. I'm going to do this really quick on here and then let this dry. We're just going to take our sanding block. Remember, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I don't want to take a lot of paint off of this. So I'm trying to really only put my sanding block here on the actual paper, not where I painted in the actual book. If you're not careful with this, you could fray the book. It's going to look fine, but it could fray to where you're going to have to actually do some trimming. Another thing, another little tip I will give you guys too is, if I were you, I would paint the book and then the next day do this technique. So I actually painted this book yesterday, these books yesterday, and waited till today to do this. Because if it's even slightly wet, it's gonna mix with your Mod Podge, and then it's gonna distort your image. Because basically what's gonna happen is the paint is going to bleed through. The paint is going to bleed through to the image and kind of ruin it a little bit. I'm being a little more careful because there is paint on here. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to go back in because I opened this up. So you want to make sure this is down really, really, really good. You have to just take a little more Mod Podge just to get those corners down. Okay, so it's on here. Here's your book, here's this. So I want to add a little distressing, kind of same thing that I've been doing. I really, guys, don't always work with Mod Podge. I mean, I do work with Mod Podge often, but it just happens to be that my few projects that I'm doing is kind of using the distress details, and it's using my Mod Podge. So just like I do, I like to go around all the edges, bringing it in a little. Now you could bring it in a lot. I don't necessarily want that look. I really want a dark outer with a lighter middle. Almost like a, I don't know, like a vignette looking image. So you're gonna wanna go over here. Now, if you wanna do an image on the back or on the spine of the book, you absolutely can. This is not necessary. You could set this up. I'm kind of making this to sit, but you could absolutely stand this up. So I'm going to show you guys what I did here. So you can see all that distressing. See all this? All this was just me just now. So that's just using ink and a regular ink pad and just a little dropper that has a sponge on it. So that is going to be that one. So this one's done. So this one, that's all you need to do. You're gonna want the ink to dry, and then what you can do just to add a little texture, you can add some flowers to this. You can add, I mean, really anything. If you have like a little charm or something, you absolutely could do that. I am gonna add just some twine, just for some texture. And a little bow, and then that's it. But this is where you can add, you know, I'll show you. You can add in just a little bit, like I said, a charm, some sprigs, some flowers. It's totally up to you. You could just actually tuck them inside. But here is this book. Now you've just turned this into a decor piece, and it was just a book that you had laying around. It's a book that actually I purchased for my blind date with the books. However, when I purchase my books, I make sure they're 4 stars and above. Well, these books here, 2 of them are the same, the other one is not. Actually, their star rating when I went in, because I had waited a couple weeks, and I had gone in to do the book hints, and I saw it went down to 3.2. And I was like, nope, I'm not selling that, so I will craft with it. So that's how I got this book. So you guys can see how simple this is. You've got your old, and I do the paint all the way around. I like to complement the paint to whatever image I'm doing. So when I was picking out images, I absolutely kept in mind what I painted the book. So this one is done. So let's do it again, but do a 2 stack here. And it just gives a totally different look. So this one, we're gonna have a church. So I always like to start out by cutting the actual image out. You don't have to do this step. Some people might think that this is a waste, but it's a little bit more manageable, a little bit easier to work with when I'm lining it up, because I want the right image on here. So like this, I did not want to cut off that top of that wood. So I had less to work with, so I could move this down. I would have rather lose some flowers and a little bit of the shrubbery and the you know, just the, I don't know what these are, just kind of like weed or something. I'd rather lose some of that. I really wanted the top of that. So this just helps to really be able to hold it up just like I did a second ago. And then you decide how much of the, you know, music sheets do you want? Do you want it like that, or do you want less of the music sheets? So you just decide what you like. Now, personally, me, I want all the music sheets. So I am going to line that up. Okay, so I'm holding it with my finger, laying it down just like we did before. Just take your pen, and now you have something more manageable. You can see my lines here to work with. And in the long run, it actually saves you time in the long run than having to cut or sand all that excess off. You're taking that off at the beginning. So, okay. So here we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do the Mod Podge down. I mean, essentially it's the exact same technique. We're just using 2 books, but we're only Mod Podging 1. We're gonna put them together with some twine like we did the other, but you're gonna have a book stack. And then a book stack you can always use for height. You could put, you know, a candlestick on it, put a candle in it. You could do just any trinket, flowers, anything. All right, make sure you're getting all your corners, your sides, where the binding spine, the spine is. All right, so now we're gonna lay this down. Same thing, line it up over here where the actual spine is. And right now is the time you can move this. Once you really start pressing it in, it's going to be very difficult to move. So get it where you want it. Okay, so it's there. So now working inside out, inside out. And I'm using a lot of pressure. Guys, it is so warm here. I'm about to go work outside in our backyard. I'm gonna just be doing a little bit of work because we're getting ready to put some pergolas up. And I wanna trim some trees and do some cleaning, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm gonna go work outside, but it's like in the 80s here and it's only March, y'all. I cannot believe it. Okay, once you feel like you've got it all out, Georgie, no thank you. Okay, so you can see I have a little excess right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do exactly what we did a second ago. We cover this up. Quickly go over it. This is the best way to make sure you have a really, really smooth edge. What you could do is you could take an X-Acto knife if you really wanted to and lay it upside down and cut it. You absolutely could do this. This does actually give kind of a unique little look, a little bit tattered of a look. And I'm just trying to be a little more careful. You could zip through this. I just don't want to compromise the book. Okay, so I'm gonna go back through and make sure, because I did have it bent, and once it's dry, you're not gonna have any problems with that. So, okay, here it is. Isn't that cute? You've got this, you've got the back. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, and now we're just gonna make a stack. Now this would be super cute standing up like on a mantle. I don't know, I just kind of grab as much as I need, or how much I think I'll need for my twine. And then I'm just gonna figure out where I want the twine. And then I'm just gonna go around and around and around and around. I'll probably get 4 times maybe. No, probably only 3 actually. So just place it where you want before you actually tie it. I'm going to tie it off to the side a little bit so I'm not blocking the church. Again, we're just going to do a simple little bow, have some hang down. So here it is, just like this. See it? Now you could literally, so you can see I actually have a stack of books right here. Let me just move these out of the way so you guys can see. You could actually just add this to your mantle. It would be just so simple. You could even take your little candle, put it right, this is an electric candle, right next to it, and now you have a home decor piece. So this is a single book. You could stick this on a stack that you have on your coffee table. You could set it up too. It's just a little more interesting when you have a stack like this. So you can see, we did one, painted the book, created all the darkness to the pages just to give a little bit more authentic look, because these are not vintage books. Now, if you have vintage books and you're willing to do this to them, then you won't have to probably do that. So you can see aged these, and some of them like these pages are different than these pages. These pages took the stains so much differently. You can see the back is painted and then you have the image on here. But how fun and cute. What an easy DIY. If you want to give this as a gift, you absolutely can. like I said, you could tuck some flowers in here. You can tuck a gift card in here. There's so many things that you could do, maybe even like a recipe or a wooden spoon, and give this whole stack. So they've got some things for their kitchen and they have some things to decorate with. But see guys, you just have to think outside of the box. Mod Podge can be used on anything. And so this is gonna be fun. So these are actually gonna head down to the painted tree. I'm gonna do just a tiny bit more with them. I am gonna do the distressing on this one. I didn't wanna take your time up, any more of your time doing the distressing, but I am gonna distress these just like we did this one. And then it's just gonna be a finished, complete look. So guys, thank you so much for joining me on my page. I would love it if you guys would like the page and subscribe to the channel. You can also find us at sweetpickens.com. That's our website. You also can shop with us here in Sparks, Nevada. We are inside the painted tree. We're in the back left corner, big chandelier, country music playing, and space W1. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You just have to type in Sweet Pickens Reno, Pickins Reno, and you'll find us there. We do stories every single day, and I'm constantly DIYing on there and baking and all the things. So guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.